Hello, son.
I just want to talk to you about something.
What is
That
it?
was it?
Yeah, what is done?
One and done?
Right now?
God, I'll be mad as hell.
Bad about my
Damn,
mom.
I missed
I
all
have to get that
that.
video of me doing.
And
Fuck.
he was
Thought
just
I
like
filmed the
saying
whole
a ton of
thing.
shit about
Camera was off, bro.
my
Sorry.
friends and my
What?
family. And
Oh
shit.
my
Yes.
I feel you. And that's not always a reason to fight. Sometimes people are gonna talk shit, and sometimes y'all gonna go back and forth, but that don't mean you gotta use your hands, alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling me and letting me know, but I really don't want you to be getting into no rumbles like that, especially just out in the streets and just like randomly like that, because you never know, man. Like, it could go so many different types of ways.
Alright, I love you.
Alright, I love you too, kid.
Alright, peace.
Peace.
This internet wants me to be an auntie so bad. I remember when Amber Rose was carrying Bash. Wow, time flies. A man can spend 20 years building his life and 20 seconds destroying it. Not because he was weak, not because he was incapable, but because he allowed one emotional moment to become a permanent consequence. Wiz Khalifa was live on stream talking to his son. Some people expected him to give the typical tough guy advice. Instead, he encouraged his son to think, to stay calm, and to avoid unnecessary conflict. And here's what stood out. Wiz was live streaming. Thousands of people were watching. Yet he wasn't concerned about looking soft. He wasn't worried about what strangers on the internet might think. Because a centered man understands something many people never learn. Protecting your future is more important than protecting your ego. Every day, there are headlines that start with something small. Road rage, an argument over a parking space, a disagreement at a gas station, a social media insult, a fight outside a club. Then the next headline reads, one dead, multiple arrests, father sentenced, life sentence handed down. A few years ago, a father was shot and killed over a dispute involving a parking space. Another man lost his life during a road rage confrontation that began with nothing more than aggressive driving. There are countless stories of people spending decades in prison or losing their life because they couldn't walk away from a moment that lasted less than 5 minutes. Think about that. A 5-minute argument, a 20-year sentence. The math doesn't make sense. But that's what happens when emotions take control. One of the hardest truths a man must accept is this: not every battle deserves your participation. Many men are trapped by an invisible prison. It's called public opinion. What will people think? What if they think I'm scared? What if they think I'm weak? What if they think I back down? But the people encouraging you to crash out usually aren't around when the consequences arrive. They don't show up to court. For example, Lil Durk, whose mom recently went viral for saying none of his friends showed up at his court date. They don't sit in the jail cell. They don't explain to your children why you're gone. They don't pay your bills. They don't rebuild your future. Yet so many men give strangers influence over decisions that affect their entire lives. That's why Wiz's message matters. He wasn't trying to raise a weak son. He was trying to raise a wise son. A son who understands that real strength is knowing when not to fight. The high road looks weak to unhealed people, let's be honest. Sometimes taking the high road doesn't look impressive. Sometimes you look like the loser. Sometimes you walk away while the other person talks trash. Sometimes people laugh. Sometimes they think they won, but here's the truth. Winning an argument and winning at life are not the same thing. Hello, did you hear me? Winning an argument and winning at life are not the same thing. The person yelling may feel victorious today. The person protecting their future will feel victorious for decades. A centered man doesn't make decisions based on appearances. He makes decisions based on outcomes. He asks, what happens next? What happens tomorrow? What happens next year? What happens if I react? What happens if I don't? Because your future self deserves a seat at the table when decisions are being made. Now let's be realistic. Not every situation can be avoided. Sometimes conflict finds you. Sometimes someone gets in your face. Sometimes emotions rise quickly. What do you do then? First, create physical space. Distance lowers tension. A single step backward can prevent a major escalation. Second, lower your voice. Most people instinctively raise theirs. A lower voice forces you to slow down. It also makes the other person stand out as the irrational one. Third, don't match energy. If someone is yelling, don't yell. If someone is insulting you, don't return the favor. The goal isn't to win the exchange. The goal is to end it safely. Fourth, buy yourself time. Simple phrases work. I hear what you're saying. Let's talk about this later. I'm not doing this right now. You'd be amazed how many disasters are prevented by a 5-minute pause. Fifth, remember the bigger picture. Ask yourself one question. How will I feel about this tomorrow? That question alone can save your future. The real flex. Social media teaches people that being respected means never backing down. The centered man knows better. The real flex isn't proving you're tough. The real flex is remaining in control when everyone expects you to lose it. Anybody can react. Anybody can throw a punch. Anybody can say something they'll regret. But emotional discipline? That's rare. That's power. That's maturity. That's leadership. Wiz Khalifa didn't look concerned about appearing soft because he understands something that many men learn too late. Your reputation isn't built by one moment, however. Your future can be destroyed by one moment. Protect your future self. Protect your freedom. Protect your peace. Protect your family. Because one day, you'll either be grateful you walked away, or you'll spend years wishing you had, or worse, your loved ones will spend years grieving. A man who controls his emotions controls his future. A man who lets his emotions control him eventually loses both. Repeat after me. I am a centered man. I do not chase. I choose. If you made it this far, you're either a centered man or a centered man lover. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.